Welcome back to SAFC Live. Sunderland have come away from the Den with a point thanks to a Jack Clark penalty in the second half, Danny.
Yeah, I think in all honesty, did we deserve a point? No more than a point anyway, I'd say that. Look at the penalty, but obviously have a look at it back in a moment or two as well. But yeah, it's one of them. Listen, we've stopped the rot, haven't we, as you say. Weren't quite at it again today. We had patches. I think we had a 10-15 minute spell in the first half, and then in the build up to the goal as well, the penalty, and then after that, sometimes it's just a natural reaction when you've got yourselves a little bit of relief, right, we're back on level terms, just take our foot off again a little bit, instead of going for that second one maybe, get the ball out to Patrick, who I thought was bright when he come off the bench, and then fortunately towards the end we were hanging on a little bit. They had a couple of opportunities, more ball in our box in our final third. So yeah, I think it's a good point in the end.
It is a good point as well. Sunderland have stopped those consecutive defeats, and that's the main stat to take away from today's game, isn't it? And then they can build upon that point and start to get a bit of a head of steam again, and maybe some consecutive points from today's game. But that was the main thing to get, I think, wasn't it?
Well, it was, yeah. I think if you looked at the three fixtures, what we had there in that week, so Plymouth, Huddersfield and obviously Millwall, teams struggling down the wrong end of the table, you'd have probably thought at least 6 points, 7, you'd have thinking along those lines. Some fans obviously 9, we've taken 1 point from them, so it's been a disappointing week from the position we were in as well. But yeah, we've got obviously a break now with no midweek game, and you've got to try and recharge the batteries, assess where we're at in the treatment room as well, and go again. A bit of relief I think for the boys as well now, getting back on the bus after that.
Yeah, let's have a look through the action then, and perhaps we can pick out some of the key moments in today's game down at the Den. There wasn't that many chances in the game as a whole, to be honest, was there?
No, I think it's setting off for ourselves. Dan Ballard had the one, didn't he? Patrick's cut through the defender's legs.
Notting Cuffy had a good game for Millwall,
yeah, he did, yeah. He was a bit of a handful. He looks like he's quite handy carrying the ball up the pitch, doesn't he? A bit of a jinker. And obviously involved in a decent delivery for their first goal as well, which we'll get onto in a moment or two. But yeah, you just see from the highlights, I think we huffed and puffed at times. Again, we were loose on the ball, in comfortable possession as well. And just one or two of the boys look a little bit low in confidence. Now you could say the young boys played a lot of football already, 19 games gone now in the season, isn't it?
Some of them haven't played a lot of football.
But yeah, in terms of giving players a break, people were saying Job's had a break today, hasn't he? But as a footballer, I've never seen it like that. I think you train all week. What do you look forward to? It's getting out there on a Saturday afternoon or midweek, and you want to get your boots on and play the games. But yeah, I just think sometimes we looked at certain players looked a little bit leggy, possibly out there. It was quite a frantic game at times, quite an open game. And there's your man there again, Norton Cuffy, isn't it? Getting to the byline, fizzing another ball across.
Of course, it was a similar kind of cross coming from their goal.
They're at that spell in the game now where you just sense it was just swinging. We had a good 15 minutes or so, and then it was sort of 20, 25 minutes onwards. They were having a bit of ball. You see now getting bodies into the box, 4 or 5 bodies in there. They're reacting a little bit better. We're caught on our heels too often, I thought, in the game on those balls dropping about, which isn't really like us when we're at it. And they were trying to get the likes of Honeyman into the game quite early on. Then he was having a little bit more ball out on this left-hand side, a couple of crosses going into the box. And then here we go now onto the goal, and yeah, Dan Ballard's come out with the first one. He actually gets a bit on the first one, and it just entices him in to go and try and win that second one naturally, as he does. Danny, he's a big, powerful lad, and he wants to go and win those 50-50s.
I've got a question for you here, Danny, because you're an ex-international footballer. Whose responsibility is Kevin Nesbitt there?
It's a difficult one. I say you haven't got the full picture of what's happening down below us here. So the ball's gone out wide. Niall, he has a look behind him. He can go and put a little bit more pressure on the ball. Luke's not in a bad position because his centre-half partner's gone out, obviously on the halfway line, he's down injured. And then naturally as a centre-back, you're thinking, worried about that fizz ball coming in flat cross. And then maybe that's where he needs Trade to come in, as the full-back. What do you say to him? Get inside the post, get narrow, double up. Listen, it's a great ball, and if that's Patrick or Jack or whoever putting a cross in like that, we're saying, what a ball, you've picked him out in between the centre-back and the full-back. So yes, defensively, we can do more. Maybe reaction, sprint, get yourself back in. You say bust the gut and try and keep the ball out the back of the net. We didn't quite do that. Find ourselves a goal down.
Into the second half, and Tony Mowbray made some early changes, a triple sub, and Pritchard, Dak and Roberts all making an impact.
They did, yeah. I thought Pritchard was quite bright. These little touches, what he's all about, isn't it? He's good awareness. And then Patrick, just maybe I said there, why has he not took the shot on? You see from there, I think his first touch kills him. Patrick, you've asked him there, he wants to open it up onto his left foot. He stopped the ball, and then it's forced him onto his right. That's why he's gone back the other way. Naturally it opens up for him there to get the shot away, and he doesn't do so. And there's Jack now driving, similar situation to the penalty, which we'll see in a minute. On that one, Mitchell stays on his feet, Jack pulling it back, and it's Bradley Dack, that one, isn't it? Trying to stab it in at the near post area. So we were having moments in the game at this stage as well, but at the same time, so did Millwall.
Yeah, they had changes at the top. Longman and Bradshaw coming on, both having good chances.
Yeah, and both involved, isn't it? Let's say Longman there, cross coming in. I think it's Bradshaw, isn't it? It's a difficult one for him. He's way past the near post, almost at the corner of the 6-yard box. But
anything,
it's a good finish.
You got
Anthony Patterson.
Yeah, Patterson.
Great save. Yeah, good reaction save. Low down to his left-hand side.
It's a great ball into the middle as well. Just Dan Ballard is the wrong man maybe on the end of it.
Yeah, people will say that, wrong man in the wrong place, but you see strikers miss them. Do you know what? I think whoever is that Fleming in front of him, or he's gone off by now. Whoever's in front of him there leaves the ball, doesn't commit.
That's a big talking point in the second half.
Yeah.
Now, initially, in real time, we thought Stonewall penalty.
Yeah. No, I thought penalty straight away. I've seen it from the camera behind. I think penalty. Watch this now. Just watch the ball. Keep your eye on the ball and the rotations on it. Watch.
And the right leg.
There you go. See how the ball just changes slightly. Listen, he's on the last rung of the ladder, by the way, and he's stretching. He knows he's in danger of not getting there, and Jack toes it, but bang there. You see? And he has towed the ball, but the referee, and thankfully we haven't got VAR, because I think if it goes to VAR, that gets changed. So thankfully it doesn't, and the refs give it. He'll see it back later, the ref, and think, perhaps I've got it wrong, but at the end of the day, it's a hard job for him. He sees it once, we've seen it 3 or 4 times. Jack tucks it away, stands up. Keeper goes the right way, doesn't he, as we said, and fortunately it's underneath him there. He doesn't get down low enough. If another yard or so in the corner, he's probably saving it with his glove, isn't he? So, yeah, relief. Jack, 10 goals this season, good return for him so far. But then it flipped back the other way, the game. See there, we're getting ourselves in a bit of a mess. I think
Millwall fighting like a team at the bottom end of the table.
Yeah, they are, and see, Cooper there, he's involved in a lot. He's a bit niggly, isn't he, for a big lad, and he gives daft free kicks away, involved with the penalty, picked up his booking, saying the ball wasn't on the spot and stuff, and we sort of get away with it a little bit there.
Ekwa having a slash at that one.
Yeah, it doesn't really sit for him, does it? It's outside of his left boot. Cuts across it, no power on it, it's comfortable one for the goalkeeper.
The game was a bit like this, wasn't it? A bit scrappy in places, just didn't drop sometimes.
You know what? Yeah, it was an open game. I thought both teams had chances at times. Say Bradshaw out now, good save again. Anthony Patterson sharp off his line, needed to be.
It's a completely different game to the game on Wednesday night.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah, both teams having a good go. Bit more tempo to it, and there's the offside one, and he was. Again, credit the linesman.
Yeah, he was. But
Millwall fans behind him there, they know that they've had 1 or 2 decisions which are questionable. And he's saying he's not offside. You see it back now. He's on the 6-yard line, hasn't he, in both?
Yeah, but look how close Longman's shot was to going in.
Yeah, well, we thought we can't see it now, but look, see there now.
That took a deflection.
Big deflection, and then he tucks it away, doesn't he? But you see, Niall Huggins at that stage doesn't know. He's looking at it thinking, oh no, we've conceded. But fortunately, linesman does his job, and he's offside. And I think, it's a good point for us. We didn't deserve anything more. Perhaps lucky to get out there with a point, if we're honest. But sometimes, look at recent results. Didn't pick anything up this time last week at Plymouth. Deserved at least a point down there. So don't always get what you deserve. But yeah, lads, listen, stop the losses, take the point and move on.
Let's have a look at the other scores from in and around the EFL Championship this afternoon. There's an early kick-off. West Brom defeated by Leicester City at home. The rest of the scores: Birmingham City 0, Rotherham United 0, Hull City 1, Watford 2, Ipswich Town 2, Coventry City 1, Leeds United 3, Middlesbrough 2, Plymouth Argyle 2, Stoke City 1, Sheffield Wednesday with a win at home to Blackburn Rovers, Southampton 2, Cardiff City 0, Swansea 1, Huddersfield Town 1. That's the scores. Let's see what that point does for Sunderland. Sunderland sit in 9th, having played 19 on 27 points. They're still in touch, aren't they?
They moved up a couple of places there, haven't we, with a point as well, so still right in amongst it, at the end of a difficult week. So, little break now, rest up in the week and go again.
Yeah, we certainly do. Let's have a look at what you've been seeing around the world on our hashtag. It's the opportunity for you to get in touch with the programme. Rachel says Clark's celebration is the initials of his girlfriend, by the way, Danny. Why did you not know that?
Oh, well, I know,
You should know that.
It's not Rachel, his girlfriend, is it? Messaging us, letting us know. I don't know, We wondered what was going on, but listen, thankfully Jack's tucked it away. He won it, didn't he? Stepped up and put it away, so
Okay then, Pete's been in touch and said, from a coaching standpoint, Danny, what can we do differently to affect the game more consistently? I guess that comes down to regular constant personnel?
Well, it's a combination of a lot of things, isn't it? So what we work on, the blueprint really of how we like to play, and when we're at it, we've seen this season some of the goals we score. You go back earlier in the season where full of confidence, you're at it, everybody's 8 out of 10 performances around the pitch. And obviously at some stage you perhaps have a dip off in the season, and that's what's happened at this moment in time. A lot of the boys perhaps aren't quite at those levels. It's a long goal season in the Championship, coming into the winter months as well. But I know, I was chatting to some fans after the game the other night, and they're saying, well, where's our plan B? But it's a difficult one, because obviously we're a footballing team. We like to play out. We like to pop through the lines and break teams down like that. And then all of a sudden, I know what they're saying in terms of what's your plan B. Well, do you revert to just going long into the big man? It's not really our sort of setup, really, is it, as a team? And it perhaps suits other teams in that way. So, but more often than not, when we come out on top and we play our football, obviously nobody's going to question it. When things aren't quite going to plan or you're not quite getting the results, then fans do say, well, what's happening? Why isn't it working? It happens in football. Unless you're a Man City where you steamroll teams week in, week out, other teams are going to have these inconsistencies, if you like, and
I guess
performances.
It comes back to today, and we're always going to look on the positive side because we're here on the SFC channel, of course, but to stop those run of defeats, to get a point, a platform to build on, that helps with consistency, doesn't it?
It does, but I mean, look at the 3 games this week. The best performance has probably been Plymouth. In terms of the amount of chances we had the ball in the box, I'd say, really, and we come away from there with nothing, didn't we? Today, again, I just said it there, we weren't quite at it where we know we can be at and the standards that the boys have set themselves. But it's a good test for the lads. We've loads of praise over the certainly last season and so far this season, but now they're coming into a difficult spell, and they'll grow as players, as people as well from coming through this spell, and hopefully they come through it. Coming into a difficult time of the year now. The snow's out there, it's cold conditions. We've got a lot of lads who are coming, young foreign boys. Gloves are on, sleeves are down a little bit. They've got to get used to the British conditions and get through it if we want to be in and around it come the end of the season.
Okay, let's have a look at another thought then here on #AskDanny from Derek, who's been in touch. He says, why does everything have to go down the left? Bar is not even in the game. Get Meander on with a few balls over the top to run onto. Well, we saw that early on. If anything, earlier in the game, Sunderland looked more in control when they were going down that left-hand side. Jack Clark getting some early success, but it was a good battle all afternoon, wasn't it? Jack Clark and Ryan Leonard throughout the afternoon.
The penalty came down to that with those two as well, didn't it? But no, it was. I think Jack went past him in the first 2 minutes on the clock. Then he come out on top with a few, didn't he? Jack pulled him back, a little bit of frustration in there.
Derek's point is, why didn't we go down the right side?
You want that balance.
We saw Bar was taken off before the hour mark.
Well, it's funny, if you look at last season more often, I know Jack had spells in the game, obviously, last season, but a lot of time last year we went down the right with Patrick because Ahmad tend to link up quite well with him, didn't he? So we seem to find that path down that right-hand side quite well. But yeah, he's right. Early on, Abdullah Bar didn't see too much of it. Then when he did, he had a difficult afternoon. He ran into players or he lost possession. Obviously came off, and then Patrick came on. I thought Patrick was a lot brighter. Patrick's had a dip in recent weeks. He's still no goals, no assists, I don't think, has he? No. So that's got to come for Patrick for a player of his ability, certainly at the Championship level. But yeah, you want to see a balance. But obviously, if you've got a player in form, they say, don't they, keep giving him the ball, especially if the fullback's on a yellow card. And Jack's one of them. I said it about Jack. He never shirks away. If he has a bad 5-10 minutes, if he's lost the ball a few times, he gets frustrated, but he'll never shirk away and hide behind the fullback. He always wants to get on the ball, and he gets us up the pitch. But Huddersfield handled him well on Wednesday night. Their game plan, and I've said it before, for an opposition side looking at Sunderland, what are our main strengths? It's getting the ball to Jack Clark out on that touchline. So naturally, you want your centre mid to come and double up. Don't allow him to come inside on his favoured right foot. Get him down the line. But Jack can go down the line as well. He showed it a couple of times late on Wednesday night. He's won the penalty from doing it today, and he can do that a little bit more as well. But yeah, you want that balance. Whoever's playing out on the right, whether it's Patrick, Abdullah Bar, get them on the ball a little bit more. But they've got to turn possession and doing all the fancy stuff in that final third into creating opportunities, goals and assists.
Okay, let's have a look at another thought from Leighton. He says, do you think Chelsea will recall Mason Burstow in January? I guess there's two sides to that. If that was to be the case, Chelsea may need Mason Burstow and Sunderland might not need Mason Burstow. But at the minute, Sunderland need him because Sunderland need a striker to start scoring.
Yeah, well, he's had a run out again this afternoon, hasn't he? And found it difficult. Did he have an opportunity? Don't think he did. A couple of balls come into him, couple stuck, couple never. And then he came off, was it 10 minutes into the second half? So he'll be frustrated again. It's another game gone by.
Yes, but he hasn't played a start of the game for several weeks, so that's going to take some time to get back into the swing of things, doesn't it, Danny? It's a little bit. It's difficult for one of them strikers to come in and hit the ground running, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of that.
Especially if you've never played.
It's that circle, isn't it?
Where in England before.
Well, no, because Tony Mowbray needs a centre forward to start scoring goals. As a player, you want a bit of consistency and get a run in the team. But then if they aren't scoring goals, then he's got to take him out and say, well, I need the centre forward scoring goals. I've got to try somebody else. And they've all had a go in recent weeks, haven't they?
Yeah.
And he's still looking for that one to come with that little bit of magic, or
and then
as I said,
final half
a deflected one
goes
in off the
striker.
No, that's it.
Mayenda came on towards the end.
Mayenda came on, yeah. So again, he had a couple of opportunities. One with his right foot, didn't he? Shifted it. From what I've seen of him so far, he looks quite big and powerful. And he's mentioned it there as well about balls over the top or threaded balls for him to run onto. And we didn't see enough of that. Maybe on Wednesday night is when I said more. Difficult again today when he come on, because they're at that stage in the game where, well, they were obviously in front, I think, when he come on, and they were a little bit deeper. Yeah. And then after that, we got the goal, and then they had the ball, really, so we didn't have too much. He did have one, I remember saying there, where it went into him, the two centre-backs stepped off him. Yeah. And he had a heavy touch and it got away from him. So it's those moments there where the young strikers, but take care on the ball. As soon as it comes into you, you know, as a centre-back, it used to annoy me if the ball went into my striker and we're under pressure. That's that release for you there. He's got to get hold of it, so then he can turn, we can squeeze up. But if you know it's going up there and they're not getting hold of it for you and it keeps coming back, we can't get up the pitch. So the young lads, they're going to learn from it. And Tony wants one of them to start scoring sooner rather than later.
We all do. This might be the last one. It is the last one on the hashtag today. It's from Stephen. A little picture of him in the sea there. Do you think it would be worth playing Jack Clark on the right-hand side instead of the left? I think he has become too predictable as he always cuts in. Opposition are now fully aware of what he will do when playing Sunderland. Well, this is the thing we've just been speaking about, really, isn't it? Because we've seen him get success going on the outside as well as the inside. You said before, as a former left-sided defender, if you put that bit of doubt in the defender's mind, you can go both ways. There's a chance you might make the wrong decision.
Yeah, I know people have mentioned this as well. Why don't we have even if you have a little switch with, obviously, Patrick, if he's playing on there, he's all left foot, wants to come inside, and Jack is the same on the other side.
Didn't he try that last season a couple of times? Did they switch over? Was it Ahmad who maybe switched over?
Maybe Ahmad, I can't recall Jack coming out on the right-hand side. But yeah, I know what he's saying. And sometimes for the centre-forwards as well, where, you know, your old-fashioned wingers really just shift at half a yard. Yeah. And then you're bending it in behind, aren't you? Yeah. Whereas these two don't really do that because it's chop. And then it's difficult sometimes for the centre-forwards to then time their run then because they keep going like that. When's the ball coming into the box?
I bet we could count, we could probably get a big number of opportunities though which the wingers have created where they have beat their man on the outside, put a ball into the middle and no one's been on the end of it.
Yeah, but he's asked that question today, but look how have we got the point in the end, because Jack's gone past his man on the outside, hasn't he, and won the penalty, and he has done it a couple of times. I said there, he's done it a couple of times on Wednesday. Do it a couple more. I think Jack actually does it a little bit more perhaps than Patrick, but Patrick's done it as well today. Dan Ballard's chance, where's that come from? Yeah. Patrick going on his right foot, little cut back, and he played that other one, didn't he, by the penalty spot where nobody was there. He was crying out for somebody to get on the end of it. So I know what he's saying, and maybe even sometimes Tony Mowbray, 20 minutes into a game, if they're not getting too much joy, just go and have a quick switch, lads, for 5-10 minutes, see if you get a bit of joy going on the outside. So it's a good question and something maybe they could look at.
Okay then. I think that's it for today here on SAFC Live. Don't forget to get the coverage from down at the Den in terms of what the gaffers had to say in the first team play. You can watch that first on Sunderland socials. Everything will be then uploaded, including the full 90 and this programme on Sunderland's YouTube channel in the next 24 hours as well. Don't forget to subscribe to us as well on YouTube and on all the socials to be the first to get all the action. Sunderland are next in action on Saturday. It's an early kickoff here behind us at the Stadium of Light. A 12:30 kickoff against West Bromwich Albion means we'll be on air from 11:45, Danny, so set your alarm. We'll be back very soon. Enjoy your week. We'll see you soon.